Preseason's changing.
Preseason's
changing. It ain't what it used to be.
Exactly.
Back in my day.
Here we go. Okay. It's not even Wednesday.
Back in my day, we used to play 4 preseason games. And you knew the starters were going to get game 1. They're going to get game 3.
Yep.
After that, they were done. Game 2, they're chilling. They're healing up. Game 4, us guys fighting for our NFL lives are getting all of those reps. So the gap between a starter and a 2 is just massive. It is what it is. You don't need to see those guys beat their bodies up constantly to figure out who can do what. What you need is, because the gap between the 2 and the 3 isn't as big, you got to see those guys compete. Can you pick up the playbook? How are you in clutch situations? Can you make the play no one expects you to make? Those guys got to go out there and compete. This is completely fine.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of film in Tennessee. Roles are already established. Who are your starting receivers? You know. Who are your linebackers? Who's your D-line? We know all the answers to these questions. It's more about getting reps, fine-tuning the little things, and letting these 2s and 3s battle it out.
Okay, so what I think is a fair question, even though I agree the preseason is just different now, with a new head coach implementing a new scheme, a new offensive coordinator with a new offense, is it a mistake not to play starters a little bit more?
Nah, it's all contingent on what these guys know. If Grubb can report back to McDonald and say, look, ones are good, man. They understand it. I've spoken to the receiver coach. I got the concepts down, the details. I spent time with the offensive line. The checks are good. Protection's fine. I've been in the room with the quarterbacks. They understand the progressions. They understand the checks. It's all just, where's your team now? If Grubb and McDonald felt like these guys were struggling with communication, with concepts and all that, I guarantee you they would play more. But no, I think this is fine. And if this was a regular or a preseason back in my day, they wouldn't play much in game 2 anyway.
Yeah.
It's game 3 that they really would play. And they're not going to play in that game because you only got 3.
Right.
So it's all good.
Okay, so related then. Now, this is a little closer to the question that Mike McDonald was actually asked. You have these joint practices against the Titans, during which time the starters will be getting time. Does that kind of fill that gap and let those guys get those
Exactly.
reps?
It's supplement. That's exactly what it is. And it's in a more controlled environment. And when you have 1s going up against 1s, and in Tennessee, which is going to happen, you have more veterans on the field than not. You don't have a bunch of rookies out there who don't know how to practice, who don't know how to take care of each other, who don't understand the process of getting through a week and making sure your body's ready to go. So yeah, I think this is a good move. If they didn't have this joint practice, then I think maybe there'd be some more urgency when it comes to getting these guys reps. But because you have that, you're getting reps every single day. So I'm completely fine with this. I would love to see Geno throw the ball to DK and look at his offense go. But that's not going to happen. But I'm still excited for preseason because you get to see Sam Howell get after it. You get to see Bobo, Derek Young. You get to see Trey Brown on the other side. I love those type of battles, man, because those are the guys that you are going to depend on in certain moments throughout the year. There's going to be a moment where you need Jake Bobo to make a play, whether it be catching the football or running down on kickoff. There's going to be a moment where you need Trey Brown to lock down this receiver and establish himself. So I'm fine with it.
I'm going to just full disclosure and completely admit something.
Okay.
Most of what I did was like a devil's advocate kind of thing. Like, I agree with you, not just for injury-related purposes, but just in terms of, like, lack of necessity. I don't think you need the starters to be playing in this game. However, selfishly, as someone who got a taste of football, a taste of what the starting defense could look like, and who is desperate for seconds and wants to see what this team could do, what the offense could look like, I just selfishly want to see it bump. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
The preseason is the biggest tease of all because you get football in your life, but you don't get the football that you necessarily want every single down. You're speculating. You're trying to foresee the future and how guys are going to be used. Our job is to create stories out of what we've seen. So yeah, the preseason is the biggest tease of all, but you got to be patient.
I don't want to be patient.
You got to be patient. That's the hardest part of this thing because then preseason ends and you got to wait another week. It's like a bye week, and then you get into real football. So that bye week, Stacy, just go ahead and watch your Huskies take an L, and you'll be fine.
Oh, thanks. That's so sweet. And you know what's really bad is I know that they will. Like, I know that it's not going to be a great year. 253 says Vegas has the over-under at 7.5 wins. The expert you just had on, that was Derek Klassen of The Athletic, said 9 wins, and Geno's a 500 career quarterback. An expert says it's a roster full of Pro Bowlers. Something ain't adding up.
I think you're not taking into account the newness of this staff and trying to figure some things out because Grubb doesn't know what he doesn't know. He feels good about the install, what the guys are able to take in, but they're going to be week-to-week adjustments. I think Grubb is going to be fine. I think he's going to figure some things out. But we can't ignore that this is a first-time coordinator in the NFL with Grubb. Dirty's a first-time coordinator in the NFL. Mike McDonald's a first-time head coach. You do have the OG Leslie Frazier over there. There's a bunch of first-time I mean, it's so new that you can't account for the unexpected. So I think that if there were more of a veteran coaching staff coming in here, maybe they'll account for Vegas would account for another win or two, but that's just not what it is. And I think 9 is fine. I think 9 is a good place to be for this group.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to disagree with this listener. It's a completely valid point, so there's nothing wrong with it. Like, factually, you're correct. I just think classifying Geno as a 500 quarterback is a little disingenuous to how weird his career has been. Like, I'm not looking at his time with the Jets, his time as a backup with the Giants or Chargers, and including that in this. And even if I were to look at only his time in Seattle, in which case you could say he's a 500 quarterback, there's been a lot of variables around that. And I'm curious to see if they get fixed this year.